Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace and blessing on Prophet Muhammad, his family, his companions. Um, I was asked to make just a short video about some of the books that I used to study Islam. Um, Actually, I didn't use that many books at the beginning. I mostly used teachers, and I do recommend that when people study Islam that they do find someone they can learn from. There are many books that can be accessed and studied. Some poor, poor quality, other much better. Um, Number one, I recommend that people try to learn Arabic. Okay, that they take a course, go to the Imam of the mosque and say, listen, give me 1 day a week, 1 hour. If you do it steadily for 1, 2 years, you'll be a huge change. Huge change. As opposed to a lot of people sit down and they just complain, oh, I need to go overseas or I need to learn Arabic. For 3, 4 years after they become Muslim, after they come to practice Islam, just don't waste your time. Just go get someone who speaks Arabic. Say, listen, I'm gonna hold you accountable at the day of judgment. You didn't teach me. And I asked you, please teach me 1 day a week. Please, just keep falling after. Learn Arabic. Um, Try as hard as you can to get a good teacher who understands, who practices, and you may know that not everyone is, we're not perfect, we're humans, right? So try to overlook the faults of people. This is very important. Right away we look at people of knowledge, and right away we just backbite them and we look down upon them and we say, oh, I don't want to study them, he's so, whatever, he's a hypocrite or something. Try to overlook the mistakes. Imam Nawawi, one of his things that he said before when he talks about the 40 hadith, he talks about the seeking knowledge, and he talks about that you should overlook the mistakes of teachers, right? Everyone's human. We have to understand that. So overlook the mistakes. Look for a teacher who speaks Arabic properly, understands, who has access to the book, and tell him to, number one, teach you how to read Quran and understand. Understanding is number one. Take a translation of the Quran with both Arabic and English. For example, I like Muhammad Asad. The Quran is pretty good. Um, some people have some issues with it. I'm just stick to the text. But yeah, basically has you got um, Arabic and you got English, right? This is a very good explanation. Very nice English. Got some footmarks. Yeah, and take this book. This is the Quran, the message of the Quran, translated and explained by Muhammad Asad. And there's also the Abdullah Yusuf Ali one, which is also it's a very good one. So take that and learn the Quran. Try to learn and understand it. Read. You should read at least once through the English Quran a year, or go slow through it and digest the meanings. You should try to read as much as you can. And I don't recommend people studying Hadith from books in English, especially. They should study it with a sheikh who can explain, who has an Arabic, who has the explanation. They should not take the book themselves and go to Hadith. I think that's a big mistake. I think people printed the Hadith in English for people, just anyone, general people, to be able to go and check them and to read them. I think that was a big mistake. This is my belief. Anyone's free to challenge that. But it takes certain knowledge. Not any person goes and performs certain things, and like not every person, will go and fix a plumbing pipe, for example, if they don't know what they're doing, right? So you need certain basic knowledge and training before you can go into Hadith. And I'm telling you, language is a big difference. So I suggest, for people to be safe and check, that they should always study with a scholar who can explain. Of course, question and challenge and so on and so forth with the intention of learning, but try to, be respectful and to understand and to seek knowledge that way. There's, in terms of tafsir, there's a very good tafsir. It's called Ma'riful Quran. It's an 8-volume book. It's by Maulana Mufti Muhammad Shafi, and is available online even right now. It's online. But yeah, if you just Google this Ma'riful Quran, and I'll put a link to that tafsir. I think it's on the line. It's online. So it's very good in English, very nice language, easily understood. And it's a lot of references. It refutes some arguments from different people. It gives good understanding into it. I don't recommend Tafsir ibn Kathir so much for English speaking people, non-Arabic speaking people. Again, you should, if you study Ibn Kathir, again, you should study it with a scholar or with a sheikh or something. In terms of a good read for people who are coming from the Christian background, Islam, into Islam from Christianity or Judaism. This is First and Final Commandment, Dr. Lawrence Brown. Level Truth. If you Google Level Truth or First and Final Commandment, you can find this book. Dr. Lawrence Brown is a convert. He lives in Medina right now. He was from the U.S. military, a doctor in the U.S. military, and he became Muslim. He's a very awesome person. I met him myself. A good tafsir is Martin Ling's Muhammad, his life based on the early sources. It's basic. Then you can go into other things, but again, I suggest you study with someone. There are many other books that can be studied, but I think that's a good one. Oh, another very good book. It's Jalal Abu Arub. It's 50 righteous and humane concepts brought by Muhammad. Very good book to refute those who attack Islam and so on and so forth. So these are just the basic books here. I can look at many others, but I recommend again going back to a sheikh and looking what he says and study with him. I think that's the most important. A lot of people, because knowledge came from God with the prophets. The prophets were teachers and they passed it on to their companions, and companions passed it on to their companions. And it was just not a book. God didn't just throw a book down. It was always people to explain. You can't just study calculus without a teacher. You need a teacher to explain those fine details and so on and so forth. This is a universal principle of the divine of God. To send teachers and to this knowledge to be passed through a chain, and obviously we know the chain of knowledge in Islam. So there's many other books that can be talked about, but yeah, these are again, my first recommendation is to study with a scholar and learn and read as much as you can. And if you have questions, do not put them under the carpet. Right? Make sure you get those questions answered. People don't want to answer your questions. Find people who answer your question. That's very important. Assalamu alaikum.